Hello everyone! So today I'm going to be talking about 5 things you should know about visiting Florida. Number 1 here is that the weather changes depending on the time of the year. Look, it's not sunny and tropical year round. Maybe in Key West it is, but it is certainly not in most parts of Florida. Definitely north of Miami, you'll have chilly days during winter. Winter here is usually dry and chilly, ranging between 0 and 20 Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit to about 68 Fahrenheit. And summer here is very hot. It's usually in the mid 90s during the day Fahrenheit wise. Celsius it's about 33, but it's also rainy a lot and it's also very, very humid. And one thing to be aware of is that hurricane season is August to September, so I would really not recommend booking travel to Florida during that time if you could avoid it. And onto my point number 2 is that the cost of visiting here can be either a cheap vacation or an expensive vacation. One of the factors that this depends on is where you're originally from, because taxes here are not super high for sales tax because we don't have a VAT in the United States. So I know a lot of people who are from foreign countries who come here to Florida, especially Orlando and Miami, to go shopping. They go clothes shopping, they go electronic shopping because the taxes are a lot less here. But the cost can get quite expensive when you're talking about always visiting the theme parks, because those are like more than $100 a day, whether that's Universal, SeaWorld, or any of the Disney parks that you're talking about. But one of the ways that you can visit Florida for not super expensive is to go to the beach or go visit some of the state parks. Even the national park in St. Augustine, the Castillo de San Marcos, that does not cost a lot. So it just depends entirely on what you want to do in Florida, what you want to see. And it kind of brings me to my third point, and is that unless if you're in the Miami area, public transportation here is really bad. We do not have an extensive high-speed rail, and bus lines are rather sporadic. If you do want to take the bus, Red Coach is decent, and they also have FlixBus here now. I think just this past month they installed it. But in general, you're going to want to rent a car if you come here, because that's going to be the easiest and convenient way to get around. Like, even though people here drive a bit crazy because people drive pretty fast on the interstate, parking here is very easy to find for the most part, and if you have to pay, it's usually very cheap too. And gasoline tends to be cheap, ranging from around $2.30 a gallon to about $3 a gallon during really high price seasons. I don't know how to describe that. That leads me to my another point, is number 4 is just be aware of the animals, especially in national parks. Sorry, not national parks, but more the state parks or any of these like trails that you might take, because you really just don't want to mess with them. If you go picnicking outside, be aware of fire ants, because they are vicious and they have a stinging bite. Believe me, you do not want to make this mistake of stepping in one of their nests. It is very painful, and it's something that you will not forget. There's also be aware of wasps here. They tend to be very prevalent during the summer months, especially. And watch out for snakes and alligators. Those tend to be near the swamps, and they, in general, will not mess with you unless if you mess with them. So yeah, just try to be aware of the animals that we have here. But there's also some really cool animals that you can see too. Alligators are actually very cool to photograph, and there's also a lot of birds here, and there's flamingos in the south. I've seen a lot of them. And number 5 is that one of the cool things about Florida is there's just so much to do here. We have so many amusement parks, we have a lot of state parks, we have a lot of beaches. And yeah, that's what really draws so many people to Florida, is that it's a beautiful state. And if you love the beach, if you love amusement parks, this is the place you ought to go to. It's really hard to get bored here in Florida. There's just a lot to do when you visit. So yeah, those are the 5 things you should be aware of when visiting Florida. Have a great day.